What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. In today's episode, we're going to be performing a deep dive on the Pokemon Hoopa Confined in Pokemon Go. Now, this Pokemon is officially added into Pokemon Go. We end up getting a special research that we can do to officially get it. We know the movesets. We know how good this Pokemon is officially going to be from the raid side, from the PvP side. So, of course, we're going to be answering some questions today, such as should you power it up? Should you unlock a secondary charge move? And of course, how exactly should you use your Hoopa Confined in Pokemon Go? And if you watch the pre-dive, we actually have some really good news because the moveset, in my opinion, is a great spot to kind of be in for Hoopa Confined. And of course, we will cover that in today's episode. But anyways, if you do enjoy today's episode, make sure to turn that like button shiny and of course subscribe if you want to stay up to date on future deep dives once Pokemon get released into Pokemon Go. Then anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So we're going to go ahead and talk about Hoopa Confined as far as the stats are concerned, starting off with the overall. So if we take a look at Hoopa Confined, we have a dual type Pokemon of Psychic as well as the Ghost typing, very interesting. And its maximum CP at level 51 with the Buddy Boost is 3,843. Now when we dive into the individual stats, we can see that its attack stat is its highest, ranked at 73rd in Pokemon Go. And then it's followed by its defense stat that's ranked at 184th in Pokemon Go. And then finally, we see the stamina ranked at 334th in Pokemon Go. But just keep in mind, it is a Ghost-type Pokemon, and there tends to be a lot of glass cannons, if you will, a lot of low staminas among the Ghost-type Pokemon. So I don't think that it's going to hold it back necessarily if we focus specifically on the Ghost types. But of course, that's going to be the next section where we take a look at the relative rankings. So versus Psychic-type Pokemon, we can see that Hoopa actually is a little bit lower in the ranking for Psychic types compared to Ghost types. It ends up being the 24th best overall compared to Psychic type Pokemon and has a very similar sequence where its attack stat is the best and then its stamina stat is the worst. But if we go ahead and flip down to the Ghost types, this is actually very interesting here because Hoopa ends up being the 4th best overall Ghost type Pokemon as far as the stats are concerned. But of course, we have the moveset to discuss, and that could be something that shifts it a little bit. But as you can see here, we talked about it having a low stamina overall compared to all Pokemon in Pokemon Go, but comparing it to Ghost type Pokemon, it ends up being ranked at 8th amongst those Ghost types, so very close in rank to attack, which ends up being 4th, and then the defense stat actually ends up being the lowest stat amongst the Ghost type Pokemon. So of course we got a lot of potential out of that Ghost type, but the next thing we have to do is take a look at the moveset, and we officially know the moveset. We've got some good news, some bad news, some okay news, if you will. So of course, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So the first thing that we have going on is a very simple moveset, a very small kind of move pool, which is great for TMing. You're going to be able to get to that ideal moveset that you want very easily. So of course, from the Ghost type, you don't really have a lot of options. You've got Astonish and Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is in fact an excellent move for a Ghost type Pokemon. Astonish, on the other hand, not so great. There's so many other moves that we would love to have. So I do think Astonish is going to hold it back some, but Shadow Ball, of course, is the ideal move that we would want to have from that Ghost typing. And then, of course, if we flip over to the Psychic typing, we've got only Confusion on the quick moves, which is nice. That means we get Stab off of both of those quick moves. And then if we move into the actual main moves, we would want to go with Psychic because Psychic got upgraded a couple years ago and is like the second best Psychic type move behind Psy Strike. So we've got an ideal moveset on that charge move from Shadow Ball and Psychic. Confusion is also an ideal move from the quick move for Psychic type Pokemon. Astonish is, I'm not going to call it a red flag, but it's kind of like, it could be better, if you will. And then Psybeam is basically going to be useless in this case, but that's not a problem because we have the stab movesets off of the Ghost typing and off of the Psychic typing. What more could we ask for? Probably just a better Ghost type move. But ultimately, we're going to have to dive into the actual raid simulation. So we're going to do it from the Ghost typing as well as from the Psychic typing. So why not go ahead and start off with some better news? And we're going to start off with this Hoopa as a Psychic type attacker. So if you go ahead and take a look here, just pay attention that we are in at the 7th slot through the 12th slot. So this Pokemon is going to be somewhere in here. And I'm just highlighting this for you to let you know this is not the top of the list. It's a little bit down, but not really too far down. And it's also including Shadow type Pokemon. So when we go ahead and add in the time to win for this Hoopa as a Psychic type attacker, we can see that it has a time to win of 680 seconds. which means it's going to slot right into the 11th position compared to Shadow Pokemon, Legendary Pokemon, Mega Pokemon, and in my opinion, that's actually pretty good for this Pokemon. And then of course, if we take a look at something else here, something to be said is the number of feints. It has a unique typing of Ghost as well as that Psychic typing, and as you can see, if you're taking a look around, you're seeing like 44 feints, 36, 22 on Ho-Oh, so that's actually pretty good. And then if you take a look at Hoopa, we've got 17 feints here, so if you're going up against a Mega Lopunny, you end up finding yourself in at the 11th position compared to all of the Pokemon, which I personally think is actually pretty good for this Pokemon, especially as a mythical, and it ends up shining, believe it or not. We already talked about it. It technically did not have the best stats compared to other Psychic type Pokemon, but because it had such a good moveset from the Psychic typing, it's kind of able to get as close to its maximum potential as it possibly can, so that's actually pretty cool here. And then we're going to see a little bit of a different story when we head over to going up against a Mega Alakazam, so we're going to be seeing Hoopa used as a Ghost type attacker, and as you can see, we're heading down to the bottom of the list where we're shifting into the bottom 22 to 30 position, and you've got some Pokemon that don't even have necessarily double stab movesets. Check out Shadow Raikou, for example, with Thunder Shock on the quick move, still able to make it into the top 30. And if we check out the Pokemon Hoopa with Ghost type moves, you can see that it has a time to win of 837 going up against Mega Alakazam, and that is going to slot right into the 28th position. So a little underwhelming in my opinion, especially when you're talking about some Pokemon that are non-legendary options. They're going to be way more budget than something like a Hoopa. So the point is despite it having better stats against Ghost type Pokemon, having that move Astonish really holds it back in comparison when you're actually out in the field doing this. So at least in my opinion, I think where the most value ends up being for Hoopa is actually as a Psychic type attacker as opposed to a Ghost type attacker. I think the moveset really kind of dictated that, unfortunately, but definitely let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. And then finally, the last thing that we have to talk about is PvP, because I know a lot of people are going to be interested potentially in Hoopa from the PvP side. So we're going to actually review a tweet from pvpoke.com, and they were kind of joking that they forgot that the Hoopa event was happening, which is pretty funny because I'm coming at this last minute and I've been super busy, so I am excited to finally get into this. But yeah, Hoopa is actually out in Pokemon Go, which is so crazy. But they wanted to at least give an update for people to say that yes, they will be adding Hoopa in, but you may not want to use it. It's not good for PvP based on the moveset, I think is more of the what's kind of dictating that. But if you are interested in using it in the Great League, or if you were wanting to use it in the Ultra League, what you would want to do is get the lowest possible attack stat that you can. And because it is a mythical and because you can't trade it, the best stats that you could technically get for lower leagues is going to be a 10 on the attack, 15 on defense, and then 15 on the stamina there. But if we're going off of pvpoke.com, unfortunately, we're not seeing some good use out of the PvP side. So I want to give my final thoughts on Hoopa. I think it is going to be a decent option, especially if you want to use it from the Psychic side. Is it worth unlocking a secondary charge move? Absolutely not. Just because from that Ghost typing, it's not competitive enough. If it was, what I would suggest is to unlock a secondary charge move, get you the move Psychic, get you the move Shadow Ball, and then just flip your fast move with a TM and do it that way. But because the Ghost type results aren't that great, I don't think it's worth unlocking that secondary charge move, because it would be 100,000 Stardust, and of course 100 candy to be able to do that. But anyways, I would love to know what you think about Hoopa Confined in that comment section below. Are you excited about using it? Do you think it is going to be worth it for you to kind of power it up? Let me know that. And of course, when we end up hearing about Hoopa Unbound, I will of course do a deep dive on that. But anyways, I hope you did enjoy this episode, and I want to give a huge shout out to the supporters over at Patreon. Thank you so much. If you want to support the channel and connect with other players, we have an exclusive Discord server where we coordinate for raids, talk Pokemon Go. So if you're interested in the game, make sure to check out that Patreon link in the description below, and I will see you next time.